Now let's talk about what I would consider my main event of the week. And was there ever any question what that main event was going to be? No, of course not. That was going to be the Alfred Hitchcock Classics Collection 4K Ultra HD. Oh my goodness. On some of the greatest films ever made in 4K. Honestly, in my opinion, they are. Hitchcock is, I am a bias. I'll admit it. We all have our biases, and I got mine, baby. And I love Hitchcock. I love him. Rear Window is one of my favorite movies of all time. So obviously this was going to be my highlight because Rear Window has a 4K. Look at this. My camera's not picking up on it. Rear Window right there. Sorry, camera. But Rear Window is included in this. You get Vertigo, Psycho, The Birds, Rear Window, all in beautiful 4K. Now, should you buy this in 5 minutes or less? Of course you should buy this. There's no question you should buy this. If you are a classic movie fan, add this to your collection. If you are a fan of Alfred Hitchcock, add this to your collection. These are 4 fantastic films that are worth owning, and they look even better in 4K Ultra HD. Now, for the notes of this review, I really want to highlight Psycho, Vertigo, and The Birds. Vertigo being what I think was the best looking of the bunch, and The Birds being what I would consider the worst looking of the bunch. It's also important to note that Psycho and Vertigo both get DTS-X tracks. They're fantastic tracks, and The Birds and Rear Window get 2.0 tracks. So they didn't get the DTS-X treatment, probably because people saw them as the lesser of the 2 films. That's fine. That's an opinion. Again, I love Rear Window. You get 2 different versions of Psycho on this. 2 different versions. So not only are these 4 great, fantastic movies, but you get an unreleased version of Psycho that that's never been released before. You're getting that here is the uncut version of Psycho. It was the movie that was seen in 1960, exactly as intended by Alfred Hitchcock. It's got additional footage. First time. This is Hitchcock's vision of this movie. It's very few extra scenes, but they're there and they add something. So let's talk about The Birds, because really that was the worst presentation in this set, but it still looked great. There's smudgy shots, but you can't tell if that was what was intended by the director, if that's just the way the film was shot, or if that was the transfer. I don't think it was the transfer. I actually think it was the way the film was shot, because I think The Birds has always looked the worst. In my Blu-ray Alfred Hitchcock set, the Birds was the worst looking one. So I just think that's the way it is. I think that has to do with the original, the negative. I don't think that has to do with the transfer or this restoration or any of that, okay? This is still the best that all 4 of these movies have ever looked. HDR adds depth to the colors where color exists. In the black and white, obviously those are always made to look better by HDR, because HDR is really going to highlight blacks and whites. It's going to make your whites brighter, your blacks darker, and your grays more delineated. So I actually think that the black and whites here are incredible, okay? So I can't say enough good things about Psycho and Vertigo. Vertigo in particular looked phenomenal in my opinion. It's really up there with some of the best transfers you're going to see in my opinion. The new tracks add a new level of audio. There are extras aplenty here. Tons and tons and tons of bonus features on each movie. So no movie gets left untouched with bonus features. And if you're a purist, you get those 2.0 tracks that you can hang on to. So I don't even think I need to say much more. Should you buy the Alfred Hitchcock Classics Collection? Do you have a 4K Blu-ray player? Do you have a 4K TV? Then absolutely you should pick this up. Because again, these are 4 classic movies, with Psycho being revolutionary in terms of horror. I really think you should pick this up without question. This I would give a 9.5 out of 10. This is a must-own disc for your collection. This is almost perfect, and I actually think if The Birds and Rear Window had gotten DTS-X tracks, I probably would have said this is perfect, the perfect release. This is a 10 out of a 10. This is a masterpiece, but it's just held back a little bit by that. So 9.5 out of 10. This is a must-own. Yes, you should buy this.